Listen to the complete season ad-free by subscribing to Curious Cast Discovery exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
It's 2002. Taj and Priya are in a popular restaurant in Pune, in the west of India, having dinner with friends. The city has a big manufacturing and IT hub, so Taj has based his new business here. Plus, of course, it's nearer than Utah to his newfound family in Erode. So, for the moment at least, this is where the young couple calls home.
We were working in Pune when I was younger, and so we made a lot of friends, my wife and I.
Playing at their feet with some coloured building blocks is Shamali, their 18-month-old daughter.
Oh, she came with us everywhere we went.
It's kind of late for a baby to be up, but Taj won't leave her behind.
Shamali never had a babysitter. Babysitters were not allowed.
Priya takes care of Shamali most of the time, but this is the one rule Taj insists on. Their daughter must always be watched by one of them. Taj spots a colleague he hasn't seen in a while. He gets up to go over to his table, leaving Shamali by his chair.
For a brief moment, I was so busy, speaking and catching up, and I thought my wife had Shamali in her hand.
But Priya's caught up in the funny story her friend's telling her, and she doesn't see that Shamali has wandered off, coloured brick in hand.
And I looked up, and I couldn't find my daughter.
Taj is in an instant panic.
I lost it. I lost it in the middle of this busy dining area.
He stampedes through the restaurant, yelling for his little girl.
And I just shouted, "Shamali!" I was like screaming, "Where are you?" And everybody in the whole dining table were looking at me.
The restaurant goes silent as the other diners freeze.
My tears started to come, and all the employees, they were like in shock. What's happening?
And then Taj sees her, Shamali, safe in the arms of his startled secretary, who'd just taken her outside for a minute to see the flowers.
I remember just grabbing her.
Taj squeezes his daughter against his chest, trying to catch his breath, to swallow the terror that's risen in his throat.
For a moment, I think the fear of what happened to me, and I thought that happened to my daughter and my little girl.
Taj's friends are still rooted to their spots, stunned by what just happened.
I had to apologize profusely. This is me. It has nothing to do with you.
Because Taj's new friends in India, just like his old friends in Utah, are clueless about his past.
No one knew. No one knew my history because I just kept everything inside. Even after I found my family, I didn't tell anybody.
But inside Taj's own head, the trauma of being kidnapped plays continuously on a permanent loop, over and over. A child's voice whispering terrifying secrets that Taj can never quite silence.
It's ruined my life, to be honest with you. Ruined my emotional life because I don't know what to do.
Can Taj ever make peace with his past? From Curious Cast and Blanchard House, this is Stop Rewind, The Lost Boy. I'm Emma Jane Kirby. Episode 10. Only for the Truth. Let's go back to 2015. It's nearly 2 decades since Taj found his family in Erode, Tamil Nadu. And he's back there with his adoptive parents, Fred and Linda, being joggled around in the back of Taj's Jeep. It's their very first visit to India, and they're feeling a little worse for wear on the potholed roads.
I didn't even hardly sleep the night before, neither did Fred, because we knew we were going to go to her village.
They're en route to Arai's house, Taj's birth mother.
I'd been waiting for 15 years, I guess, or something like that, just to meet her.
Neither of them had eaten anything. Fred's not taking too well to the local spicy cuisine.
Wonderful food that Fred would get sick on.
And Linda just doesn't have an appetite. Her stomach's in knots. She's nervous about how Arai will receive them. She might even refuse to see them. Or worse, maybe she'll accuse them of stealing her son.
I didn't want to face her because I was worried that she'd think that we paid somebody to do this, you know? I didn't want to face her.
Looking out of the car window, Linda's also blindsided by the poverty she sees all around her. Shocked to think that her Taj came from here.
There's nothing there. There's just nothing there. Those people have nothing.
Taj isn't exactly helping to put them at ease. He's pretty stressed about the visit himself.
All the way to that house, Taj was giving me instructions because he's good at that. Mom, don't touch her. Don't get too close to her. Don't stare at her and make her feel uncomfortable.
But before Linda can ask how she should behave, they arrive.
So we drove in to this just a little field, and there were a couple of houses around, and we just parked there, and below there was a river, and she was down there washing her hair.
Just as she had been when Taj first found her. They stand in the sweltering heat while Priya runs down to the river to tell Arai she has visitors. But Linda's losing her nerve. She takes Fred's hand to steady herself.
Pretty soon, here came this woman. She had gray hair. She was in a bright blue dress, and she just came walking up the hill, and her head was down. She didn't lift her head at all.
No eye contact. Fred squeezes Linda's hand.
And then she got fairly close, and I can remember I was staring at her because I was hoping to make contact with her before she came, but she just came walking straight up to me.
Linda braces herself. She'll understand if Arai is angry. She's even expecting it.
And she popped up her head and she just grabbed me and hugged me and started to cry. So we both started to cry.
Arai just can't let go.
I couldn't control myself. I hugged her so tight.
She just jumped on me. And so I hugged her, and she thanked me and thanked me and thanked me. She kept thanking me over and over for helping her son.
Because Arai doesn't see Chelamutu's kidnapper before her. She sees Chelamutu's savior.
She was his mother. She took care of him and looked after him. I am the birth mother, but it is she who brought him up. So I was so thankful to her. I couldn't stop hugging her and saying, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being a mother to my son.
It was overwhelming.
From the sidelines, Taj stares at the women weeping. His two mothers. Worlds apart, yet now locked together in each other's embrace. It's almost too much for him.
I kind of stood back and just kind of watched it happen. And it was kind of neat for me to see two worlds kind of meeting. It's interesting. I didn't really know how to feel.
With Priya translating, the two women talk. Linda brought a packet of photos for Arai, pictures of Taj from all the years she missed, the years when he should have been with her.
She'd ask me some questions and I would answer them. Was he a good boy? Simple questions, you know. And I made it a point to say, your son is a wonderful young man. Your son, your son. So she knew I recognized that she was the mother.
Fred and Linda meet Taj's brothers, his sisters, his cousins, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews. So many relatives, it's hard to remember who's who. But everyone wants to show them one thing in particular, something they treasure.
When we went into these little houses, quite a few of them had a picture of Taj in their house, in his Cub Scout uniform. It's like he was the king, and I thought, oh, brother. I gave him a bad time about that. But anyway, Fred said, what are they doing, bowing to him or what?
Linda's carrying American chocolates in a cool bag. She hands out a box to everyone Taj introduces her to, which means Linda and Fred are instant hits.
They loved us. They absolutely loved us. And they thought we were far more important than we are.
But Linda suddenly notices that Arai has gone quiet, that she looks a little distressed. She tugs at Priya's sleeve, repeatedly asking a question and then looking furtively at Linda. And Linda suddenly feels fearful. Perhaps the big questions are about to begin. Then Priya translates.
She told Priya, do I have one of those?
Arai has her eye on the gift bag.
That was funny to me that she was so wrapped up. I can't tell you. She was really nervous about that. She kept looking at him and looking at him and looking at me. And I wasn't even in tune. I wasn't even thinking about chocolates,
Linda and Fred have a wonderful visit, one they'll never forget. Linda savours every second of her time with Taj's birth family, particularly with Arai. And she's so proud of her son, of their son.
He's done a lot for the people in India, and he never goes and brags about it.
But there's something else Linda notices as she watches Taj with his family. And it worries her.
Everywhere we went, seemed like somebody gave him a list. Somebody wanting to bring this back to them when he came back. And I could see that was wearing on him because he couldn't support them all. That's kind of a hard burden,
And it has been hard, from the minute Taj found his family. Families are complicated, especially when you've been gone for most of your life and now you're essentially a stranger.
This is the stuff that I help do. We help them get these looms because they can go ahead and create products that they can turn around and sell. And so this subsidizes the farming.
The present day. It's been 10 years since Fred and Linda visited Erode with Taj, and today Taj is back, this time alone, checking up on enterprises he's helped set up for his family.
They do silk saris over there, so really fine hand-woven silk saris that they turn around and sell.
In both his parents' villages, he's set up weaving businesses to help his huge extended family get out of poverty. He's even managed to pass on his entrepreneurial spirit to some of his relatives, like his cousin who's 10 years older than Taj. He's a butcher and a peanut farmer with a coconut plantation, with a bit of sugarcane on the side.
Yes, I'm going to eat that one, sorry.
Taj's cousin is proud to show Taj his latest side hustle. It's a cockfighting business, which is perfectly legal in Tamil Nadu, and means if his crops fail, he has something solid to fall back on. Taj's cousin has strong memories of little Chelamuttu. He was actually there when Chelamuttu's fingers got crushed, that time he was helping his mum pound wheat. He watched Chelamuttu constantly fall over because he wouldn't stop running backwards. And he recalls with huge sadness how, after Chelamuttu disappeared, he searched for him almost every evening. For 6 years. Now that naughty little boy he remembers so fondly is a big businessman.
Oh, geyser, everything. Hey, he's got a geyser. It's like warm water.
Each time Taj visits, his cousin tries to show Chelamutu a new improvement he's made to prove that he's building a sustainable future for his family.
Fire thing. He finally has a hot water coming out. He's so proud of that. What is this? Huh? RC, okay. Rice. All rice.
Taj feels very close to his cousin.
You immediately saw that I'm one of them. There's no difference. I am his cousin, and he immediately said, "Hey, you're staying for lunch." He's demanding that I stay for lunch, which is I've never had that anywhere.
But not everyone in the family has embraced Taj's efforts in the same way.
Actually, you know what? This is what I wanted my brother to do, and he failed to do.
Because the American dream isn't necessarily for everyone.
You have these big hopes and dreams, but ultimately they have their own freedom of choice.
When Taj first found his family back in 1997, he was shocked to see that nearly 20 years after he was snatched from them, they were all still living in mud huts. So with the help of his friend Chris, he immediately rented a big house for them. It was to be a home for his mother, his two brothers, his sister, their spouses, and all of their children.
Taj tried to put them all together. He wants everything to happen immediate.
Chris says Taj was impatient for them to play happy families, but it didn't exactly work out like that.
We didn't know the undercurrent. There was some problems in the family within, because everybody's married, no? But Taj wanted all of them together. We went and bought all the utensils. And in 6 months' time, we found that they were fighting with each other. The eldest moved out and all that stuff. So, I mean, that didn't work out.
Taj was disappointed.
I have a very Western mindset, which is a lack of patience, and I want you to do it now, and I wanted you to do it my way.
Taj also realised that his ideas were just totally out of step with how his family actually lived their lives.
I don't really blame my siblings for not understanding because, for all this time, they've been working day to day to earn enough money to eat for the day. So for them to plan for the future and invest in the future, they just didn't have the capacity or the wisdom to do so.
Taj's relationship with his big brother Silveredge is the one that's been the most tested over the years. First, Taj tried to invest in Silveredge's bleaching factory. Then, when that business failed, Taj gave him funding to start up other projects instead, on the condition that he'd take care of his siblings.
In a very small number of years, he became very successful. He went into real estate and buying and selling and did very well. And then he got sucked into drinking, and we pulled away our support and forced him to be on his own. And unfortunately, he just he lost everything.
Just like their father, Silveredge turned to alcohol and stopped helping the family.
I just can't continue to waste my time and effort on an individual who's selfish. So I have chosen to remove my support and my interaction with him for the time being.
Taj hopes that'll change in time, because he's aware that his reappearance must have been tough on his older brother. Silveredge had been seen as the head of the family until Taj showed up and promptly took over as the family's provider.
The whole concept of the prodigal son returned, and one son that was constant there, he's a little bit tossed aside because suddenly I come into the life and he becomes almost a second-class citizen.
Everybody!
The standoff with his brother has affected Taj's relationship with his mother too. When he visits Arai, he's never quite sure how he'll be received. This time, as bells ring for a local festival, Arai breaks down in tears when she sees him.
I haven't seen her in about 3 years, except for I saw her. She wasn't talking to me. She only talked to my wife. She had a little, I don't know what's happening here. This is new and unique.
And he's not always sure how to handle her.
Chris, come control this, please. This is a little.
For a while, Taj gave his mother a little money each month so she wouldn't have to work anymore. Then he found out she was just giving it to Silveredge. When he asked Arai to stop, Arai refused his attempts to support her and returned to work, selling palm leaves, a sort of mouth freshener, door to door.
யாருக்கிட்டையும் நான் கை நீட்ட மாட்டேன் 10 ரூபா கொடுனா யார்கிட்டையும் இன்னும் இது நாள் வரலாம் கை நீட்ட மாட்டேன்
I've never stretched out my hand to anyone in my entire life. I'm an independent, hard-working woman, and I still work now. I don't need handouts from anyone. All I want from my son is his love. That's all I want from any of my children. Just love.
Having said that, Arai is very aware of who gets what.
எல்லாத்தோட அதிகமாக அவங்க பெரியப்பா வீட்டுக்கு செஞ்சான் அதில் கொஞ்சம் எனக்கு மனசு இதாகி போச்சு.
Chalamuthu helped us a lot. But he's helped his father's side of the family much more than us, and I can't understand that. And to tell you the truth, that really upsets me. It's very hurtful. Yes, very hurtful.
Chris says that's just big Indian families for you. And he insists that Arai is Taj's #1 fan, though she'd never tell her son that.
She loves him so much, she goes around everywhere to tell about her son, but she will never tell on Taj's face.
Arai knows Taj has really made his biggest impact with the next generation. He insisted that all his nephews and nieces attend school regularly. He was a stickler for homework, and his strictness has paid off.
One niece is now a nurse in her village. She's like the important person. She's got a government job that everybody in India really wants. I have a couple of my other nieces and nephews that are, one is going to become a chip designer, which is incredible.
His younger brother's children have both won spots at prestigious schools to study engineering.
They're just doing really well. And it's amazing to see that the course of history has been altered as they are raising themselves out of poverty and building a bright future.
No one could be more grateful than Ishwaran, Taj's younger brother, who all those years ago walked barefoot on hot coals in the temple, praying for his missing brother to come home so that everything would come right. But there's one more thing he wants from him, something he wants more than anything else. He wants his brother to speak Tamil again.
வெளிப்படுத்திக்க முடியல. இப்போ வந்து நாம் சொல்கிறது ஒரு 10 வார்த்தை சொன்னால் ஒரு 3 வார்த்தை புரிஞ்சுக்குவார். அந்த ஒரு வார்த்தை எனக்கு நிறைய.
I'm definitely disappointed that my brother hasn't learned Tamil because it just means we can't just chit-chat together or speak with any emotion. He can pick up a few words, maybe 1 or 2 in every 10 I say, but for me to have a proper relationship with my brother, we need to be able to talk the same language.
But something is blocking Taj.
Wow.
The last time he spoke Tamil was in Utah, when he was a terrified 7-year-old, whispering the terrible secrets of what had happened to him into Linda's cassette recorder. After that, English took over and wiped Tamil clean from his memory until he could no longer understand his own words on tape. So what keeps him from relearning the language? Is it just too painful? Taj sometimes wonders if it's about self-preservation, making sure he just can't get too close.
I think somewhere my brain or my heart just shut it off and said, you know what, never again. I don't know if my experiences have created and forced me to be that, and I don't want to have that relationship because emotionally I'll get hurt. I don't know.
Chris says that Arai would also love to hear her son speak her language again.
His mom used to say that, I want him to speak to me in Tamil. He says, ask her to learn English. Ask her to learn English.
And Priya would also love her husband to pick up the language.
I still tell him that the language is there somewhere in his head, and someday I wish it would come out. But it's sad that he suppressed all those emotions.
Despite visiting and trying to support them, Taj says that emotionally, he still needs to keep his distance from both his Indian family and his American family.
I just realized that right now, both sides are at an arm's length.
Sometimes Chris is thankful Taj can't speak directly to his family and has to filter conversations through him or Priya. Because when you see him greet his sister, you quickly clock that tact isn't exactly Taj's strong point.
She's gaining weight. What's happening? She's getting fat. She's putting on weight. Why?
Chris says that when Taj speaks like this, it reminds him of someone.
Taj is very much like his mom. I think the mother and Taj, they have the willpower. But both of them are very, very stubborn. They are very much like...
Taj has returned to the family he was torn away from. His mother, his brothers and sister, his uncles and aunts and cousins, everyone whose names he so carefully listed onto that cassette tape all those years ago. And despite the squabbles and the family feuds, he wouldn't have it any other way.
I'm so happy that I'm able to be part of my family's life in India. It brings me so much gratitude and happiness, and they have done more for me than I could ever possibly do for them. They have healed my soul.
Chelamuthu came home, where he belongs. And yet, for Taj, it's not quite that simple, because this is only one of his homes, one of his families.
But this is what I crave. This is what I want to be a part of. It's kind of a dichotomy because I want to be here, but I know that with my American and European ways that I know I can't live here. But there is that part of me that wishes I had this life still.
But Taj knows now he can't rewind. And today he's found an inner peace. The anger that raged inside him for so many years has quietened down. It's been replaced by the still small voice that his adoptive parents, Fred and Linda, always prayed he'd hear.
There are too many coincidences in my life to deny that there's a power or something far greater than myself that directs my life.
And that's why now Taj tries to focus on what he has rather than on what he lost.
I think I've learned to appreciate the blessings that God has poured upon me. You look at all the good things in life.
And he's also learned something else: forgiveness.
To be honest, I think Chelamuthu is now realizing, you know what, he may have been a little bit hard on his family in America, and he's trying to heal those wounds a little bit as well.
Well, that's what I said. You knew that picture was going to...
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, here's a Boy Scout. Here's Cub Scout.
Oh, no, wait a second. Look at this. That's another year.
There's a boy in a uniform right there.
Yeah, but he's a weirdo anyway.
We're back in Utah in the present day, and Taj and Priya are dropping in on Linda. Sadly, Fred passed away 4 years ago. And I'm joining the family for coffee. In fact, I've been speaking to Taj for the better part of 2 years now, and this is by no means the first time that Linda's welcomed me into her home. Taj and I have spent weeks and months chatting together, and we've recorded hours and hours of detailed and deeply personal interviews. Sometimes I felt terrible when I visibly upset him by asking him to tell me far more than he's comfortable with. Sometimes I've just irritated him. And quite often Taj has refused point blank to answer my questions until I've answered his. But we've also really laughed together, both with his lovely family in America and when he invited me to India, where I met his feisty mom, Arayi, and the wonderful Papadi, who you might remember is the kindly landlady who gave him sweets as a child. When she understood we were doing this podcast, she laid her hands on my head in a blessing. But it was at night time inside his jeep in the darkness of the Indian jungle when I felt I really got to know Taj, when we talked frankly about faith and hope and resilience. That's when I understood that although he says he can't really do emotion, Taj cares very deeply about other people's feelings and needs. Anyway, all this to say that I think I know Taj well enough now to suspect that he's a bit fed up of all this recording, and he might even be done having me as his shadow.
Anyway, I'm sick of this microphone, just so you know.
He feels he's said all he has to say.
See, this is why I was the mother of the scout troop, and then the next scout troop.
There you go.
But Linda loves to reminisce. She can't get enough of it. So she's got all the photo albums out again. All of Taj's unflattering school pictures. The scout ones his family in India just love.
So 3 years I was wearing a freaking Boy Scout outfit.
Well, that was your choice.
It's been a couple of days since Taj discovered the second cassette tape in his basement, the tape he'd never heard before, the one that made him so angry. Not just because it dragged him back to his painful past again, but also because it made him remember how much he'd hated making those tapes with Linda. How he'd resented her for forcing him to put on record the very horrors he wanted to forget. But that's the whole point. Linda didn't want him to forget.
He said, when you were old enough, you could read all of those papers. There was no secrets in there. Everything was open and that you were welcome to have it. But we only knew what Paul told us, and we had to believe what he told us, which, of course, most of the things were not true.
That's funny, Mom.
Yeah, I know.
That is funny.
And as we sift through the old photos and documents together, something suddenly clicks for Taj. Linda did all this for him. And that's when he stops caring about my ever-present microphone. He welcomes it. Because he has something important to say. Something he wants to put on record.
Well, Mom, that's one thing I got to tell you. You have done an amazing job of
Keeping records.
keeping stuff and saving for us. I'm just an amazing forethought that you had. Actually, kind of chokes me up that you did it, but
That's why Linda hoarded all this paperwork. That's why she made Taj record every detail he could remember. She was paving the way so that one day he might find his way home.
So ironically, I found a tape that I hadn't heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who's on it? You? Did we make more than one tape?
We did.
Oh, see, I don't remember one.
And the fact is, I popped that tape in Friday, and I realized, you did. You took a lot of care.
Well,
And it was interesting to listen to that tape because I was able to listen to a young parent speaking to a future Taj that I might appreciate what you went through. And I got a deeper insight to my mom.
that's good.
Yeah.
You were a neat little kid, but you had been through some wild times.
Yeah. Anyway, it's very therapeutic, this process for me, because and it's funny, is I think I've gotten a greater appreciation for what my parents went through. Really do. And which before it was, you always think about the boohoo me and what I went through, but in reality, I realize how difficult it must have been for you and Dad.
Yeah, it was very hard. Well, it's like seeing a flower start to open up and be the real person. And so this is the first time you're really expressing that, and I can understand it.
I think I just needed time to process.
Okay. That makes sense.
I'm really glad that Priya found that tape. It for me, it was a little bit eye-opening.
That's good. Well, we made it through those years.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We made it through.
Linda first used those cassette tapes to help her and Taj understand what had happened to him. Now he's using those same tapes to try to understand her.
My mother, she must have been torn up inside. She crossed over her pain and her anguish to try to do her part to find a solution, and I think she did a tremendous job.
I've made mistakes, and sometimes I'm curt with people, and I can get pretty bossy sometimes. But I think we're a good family.
My mother was an exceptional woman. She is an exceptional woman. And matter of fact, a lot of those documentation is what helped me reunite with this family.
Perhaps you can belong in two families.
All day
You
long.
didn't have to wear them.
Oh, yeah, right.
You didn't have to wear them the day you were going to have your picture. You knew you were going to have a picture.
No, she forced me to wear those. I mean, look at this guy. Look at that dork.
You were proud of that.
Look at that
Now, see,
dork who's in
here's
a
where we're
scout
going to really
uniform.
disagree.
Where's the girl?
Because listening to Taj and Linda tease each other over those old photographs, well, if this isn't family, then what is?
Really tough stuff, I'll tell
It's
you.
not possible because I was already here 4 years and 5 years. So you really think
Yes.
a kid's going to say, yeah, give me this?
Yes.
Anyway.
Nobody made you wear the uniform the day of the pictures.
I know she did.
Oh, gosh. Taj knows I love him so much, and his dad loved him. We're so proud of him for everything that he's done.
She wasn't that.
Oh, Taj, I don't know how you come up with these things.
I have a huge, tremendous amount of appreciation for my parents. And dare I say, I even have love for them.
Taj has found his long-lost family. But has he found himself? Who exactly is he now? Taj Kaiba Roland or Chelamuthu Kupaswamy? Priya has him listed on her cell phone as Chelamuthu.
He's become more Chelamuthu now, lately. And he's becoming very Indian these days. He says that he's more Indian than me because he loves being home. Yeah, he's home.
Taj hopes to spend more and more time in India, but he's had to accept that Chelamuthu, he's just frozen in time.
I listen as people talk about this Chelamuthu. And he is, and yeah, I am there, but we're just talking about him. Even when I go to a village, we're talking about what Chelamuthu was. And I'm participating in that. Yeah, Chelamuthu, I remember him, but I'm not that guy anymore.
And when he weighs it all up?
In my case, if I had to be honest with myself, and I compare the life I have today to the life that I would have had, I'm grateful.
So I asked Taj to think back to the E Road bus stand one last time. That loud and crowded place where Chelamuthu used to play. And one last time, I asked him to recall that fateful day, the day when Chelamuthu was lured onto a bus by a gang of older boys. The day when his decision to get on that bus changed the course of his life. I asked Taj to imagine Chelamuthu hesitating. And I asked him to imagine running over. What would he say if he could kneel down and take his little hand and make him listen? What would he tell Chelamuthu to do? For a long moment, Taj doesn't answer me. He closes his eyes and takes a few deep breaths. And when he opens them again, he looks directly at me.
I think Taj would tell Chelamuthu, my boy, get on the bus.
You've been listening to Stop Rewind, The Lost Boy, a Blanchard House production for Curious Cast. It's hosted, written and produced by me, Emma Jane Kirby, with additional production by Himat Shalagram. Stop Rewind, The Lost Boy is inspired by the book The Orphan Keeper by Cameron Wright. We'd like to make it clear that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has never promoted or facilitated the adoption of children from Paul Thurvedos's orphanage, Lincoln Home for Homeless Children. The words of Taj's mother Arai are voiced by Soham Kapila, and Taj's brother Ishwaran is voiced by Tarash Maharotra, with translations from the original Tamil by Nadiani S. On the ground interpreting by Smita TK. Additional research by Catherine Gillon. Original music by Toby Matamon, Louis Nankmanel and Daniel Lloyd Evans. Sound design and mix engineering by Volkan Kiziltuk, Daniel Lloyd Evans, Toby Matamon and Louis Nankmanel. Post-production supervised by Daniel Lloyd Evans. The creative director of Blanchard House is Rosie Pye. The head of content at Blanchard House is Lawrence Grizel. For Blanchard House, the executive producers are Amika Shortino-Nolan and Lawrence Grizel. For Curious Cast, the executive producers are Dida Velasquez and Chris Duncan.